It's the same thing. I'm just going to put in a parenthesis here. You can carry this right through with child to parent and citizen to government and people to elders in the church. All four of those operate on this principle. If render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's. Now what's the relationship between rendering to Caesar and rendering to God? Well, when you render to God what is God's, what do you render to Him? Tell me. Everything. Because that's what's God's. Okay, there's nothing left now to render to Caesar. But you're supposed to render to Caesar your citizenship. So, you've totally bound yourself to God as King and Lord of your life. And now He tells you, go in there and be a citizen. And for His sake, you go, and now it's not treason anymore. You don't have a divided allegiance. I submit to my government for His sake. And as soon as that government gets out of step with Him and demands sin from me, I'm not obeying. You can see that all through the Bible. That's the way it is with wives and husbands. That's the way it is with children and parents. That's the way it is with elders and people in the church. All human authorities are relativized by the supreme authority of Jesus Christ. Now close that parenthesis. That's not on my paper here. I just wanted to give you the bigger picture of what I'm saying when I say that a wife submits supremely to Christ and secondarily to this sinful husband. So that's a very, very, very important distinction. One of the things that it implies is this: a wife will see the need for change in her husband. Since he's not Christ, he's a sinner, a fallible sinner. And she will see this. And I'm arguing now, she may and should seek the transformation of her husband. Even while respecting him as the head. And when we talk about submission in a few weeks, I'll open more of what that looks like and how that works. I'll give you several reasons why I believe that's the case. I'm arguing now that not only may husbands seek the transformation of their wife on the analogy of Christ dying to sanctify His bride, I'm arguing the other way around, that wives, since He's not Christ, and she is in full allegiance as a subject to Christ, cares about this man's conformity to Christ, may take steps to bring that about. The question is, really? Really? A few arguments. One, the analogy of prayer. Now, I don't want to push this too far. It's just a pointer, but take it for what it's worth. When the church is taken by Christ, who is sovereign and all-wise, does the church ever want to change Him? And the answer is no, you don't change Him. But what about things He does? Is it okay for the church to ever ask the Lord to do something different than He's doing? And my answer is yes, because that's what prayer is. Now, this only works if you believe in the sovereignty of God. I believe in the absolute total sovereignty of God, that everything that comes to pass by His ordination, His design. Which means if I'm sick, He ordained that I get sick. But He also ordains that I pray to get well. So, if I get sick, I call the elders, anoint with oil, and say, "Oh God, please alter this situation." Now that's me coming to my husband, so to speak, and saying, "Change the situation you have brought upon me." And I'm saying, that's good. That's a good thing to do. We should pray Ask the Lord. You have not because you ask not. I don't give you blessings because you don't ask for blessings. I haven't done this for you because you don't ask me. I'm leading down this path. I would take you down that path if you asked me. Ask me. And so here you see where I'm going with this. A wife, on that analogy, would then be expected to and have the right to talk to her husband and say, you're getting home at 6 every night, and the plan is 5:30. Can we talk about this? I'd like this to be different because I planned for 5:30, and the kids plan for 5:30, and you're getting here at 6 every night and don't seem to bother you at all, and it's wrecking everything. That's prayer. You can see how the analogy breaks down. I mean, this guy's misbehaving. He shouldn't be doing that. Jesus never misbehaves. You don't ever go to Jesus and ask him to improve. Improve, Jesus. Like, I know better for how you can be a better God. You just ask that circumstances change if he would be willing. And so there's an analogy there. Don't press it too far. Here's another reason why I think it works this way. Namely, that since husbands aren't Christ and therefore are fallible and sinful and are like Christ but not Christ, it is fitting that the closest Christian in relationship to them help them. Help them grow. Help them see their flaws. Help them change. Men and women back and forth. For example, a wife is not simply like the church. She is also like a sister. I married my sister, spiritually speaking. Sisters relate to brothers not exactly the same as wives to husbands or church to Christ, but that's a reality. Then you read a text like this, Galatians 6:1. If anyone is caught in any transgression, you who are spiritual should restore him in a spirit of gentleness. Can that apply to a wife? I think it should. I think it should apply to everybody. If they're spiritual. If this wife is spiritual and she detects, Galatians 6:1, if anyone is caught in a trespass, you who are spiritual should restore him in a spirit of gentleness, lest you too be tempted. I'm arguing that the brother-sister Christian relationship has a place, not just submission, headship. And the submission, we'll see, shapes the way you do this, shapes the way a wife does this. Another example would be Matthew 18:15. If your brother sins against you, go, tell him his fault between you and him alone. Does that apply to marriage? I think it should. It's a general statement. But if a wife who knows this man better than anybody else sees that, there's a sin. Nobody knows it but me. Does she then say, I can't prove it? I can't bring this to his attention. I can't plead with him. I can't talk to him about it. I'm saying no. She can and she should bring it to his attention. And here again, I'm walking on dangerous ground because there's some words in English that would describe if she got this all wrong. Nag is one word, and badger is another word. And the Bible has verses that warn a wife not to do that. One of them is 1 Peter 3:1. Likewise, wives, be subject to your own husbands, so that even if some do not obey the word, they may be won W-O-N. They may be won without a word by the pure and respectful behavior of their wife.